With so many different platforms,
Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter,
and their purposes evolving daily, navigating social media can be, well, complicated. Welcome to the Social Media Sucks podcast from Cubco.
Social media really sucks.
Where we unpack the latest trends and help remove the suck from social media.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Social Media Sucks podcast by
Hello.
Cubco. Today we're gonna talk about social commerce. And with
commerce,
me, I
nice.
have my partners here, Chris and Andy.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey guys, what's up?
Good to see you again, or hear you again, or feel you again. I don't know.
Good to be here in general.
Good to be. That's good. Good
Cutting
to see
out
you.
the feel part. It's, it's
no,
a
we won't.
workplace,
We'll leave that in there.
It's professional. Let's keep it that.
I'm not saying feel you guys. I'm saying feel the listeners.
Oh, okay.
It's good to feel the listeners. I can feel it through nothing. Never mind. Forget it.
Good to have you guys.
Moving on.
Good to have you guys here. Let's talk about social commerce and see what we can uncover during this episode.
Love it.
Let's just ease it in. Like, how have you experienced the transition from traditional retail to this more content-based social commerce? Anyone want
Like
to start?
me personally, I mean, I think that obviously 2020 accelerated everything from a social commerce or sort of e-commerce sort of way. And then in terms of buying, I mean, we've had this discussion about buying products before from social, and I think it's definitely been like the biggest discovery platform for me for products, because I see somebody using it or I see them tutorial it, and then I go, oh, I need that in my life. So I think like my experience has been that it's the place where I find out about products first. Usually it's like the new school of word of mouth, and then actually buying the products online, it's just become so easy that I don't think I ever want to step in the store ever again. So that's my own experience. But
What's
yeah.
your take?
So for you, actually, it's a completely new customer journey. You don't want to like step a foot in the
truthfully, yes. And I mean, I don't even think advertising really, I mean, although we do advertising, I don't think I've seen anything recently where I was like, got advertised to it and thought, oh, I need to check that out. It has been mostly through social commerce that I've discovered products and then purchased.
But through paid or through organic and Instagram? And
I mean, it's maybe some of it's paid if it's influencers,
Yeah.
for sure. And then I think...
what I meant is more like if it's through ads or through influencers.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think that I don't really click on ads.
Me neither, but actually like the one brand that keeps on pursuing me forever and I click on their ads is Nike.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, because you have like that's
Yeah.
true. Actually, I will take it back. So there is certain brands that you might like click through and like take a look at.
Yeah, and they're also super smart with like dynamic ad creative.
Okay.
So they're gonna always serve you based on, whatever
needs.
you last searched for on their website.
Okay, so you are getting relevant stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but that's my experience. I mean, I think that it's totally replaced it. Do you step in the store still and try on stuff and look at stuff?
Honestly, I think it's like kind of weird because I'm actually like younger than you, but still like for me, the in-store experience is actually something that's important. Like I like to try on things, but it's also maybe because like I have this like weird body, like my upper body is like weirdly lengthy. And like I really have to try on clothes.
But also the texture of things. When you buy stuff digitally, you don't get to touch and feel stuff.
Yeah, that's also
So
true.
that's also a big element for
But
many
does that
people.
matter nowadays, though?
I think it
to
does,
me, yeah.
because it can't really it does a lot, but it can't really replace this shopping experience you can have walking into a store, getting that service.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, online customer service is something else, but it's that shopping experience that you miss. You can't touch stuff. You can't discover like a new fabric, a new texture, and you won't get stimuli that way.
Yeah.
To me, it didn't really like change the customer journey. It just like added in like an extra step of discovery instead of like strolling around the shop. So like being more active on like the shop floor. I'm just like taking my time online to really like, map out like what I want to buy, like what's the price, was it actually on sale or not, and then like figuring out, and then like when I go to the store, it's like way more direct, and I'm gonna just like go there, get it, try it on, is it fitting? No. Then I'm like, okay.
So it's a game plan for you.
Yeah, sort of like, because honestly, like I used to like strolling around shops, but I don't like that anymore. Like all the like these spotlights that they have in the shops and stores, it's like they're just like so warm and like so many people, and now we have the pandemic going on, so it's like
Yeah.
I
think something that's worked for me is actually when I am in store, it's because it's not impulse buy because you're not there, but it's almost like I do not want to wait for shipping. Mm-hmm. You know, like that sort of, I want it now. Like that's where I think I step into a store. But usually it's fueled by, something I've seen online that's like, okay, I need to get this. And then I go in and buy it.
Yeah.
So, or bigger purchases like laptops or phones. They kind of, purchase those online or purchase those in store. So, but yeah, that's my experience. So do you think that people are going to be yearning for, after the 2021 or after like sort of Corona pandemic slows down or stops, do you think people are going to be yearning for that shopping experience because we haven't had as much of it as before?
Yeah, I think so, honestly. I think it's just like, a trend is going to be like, I keep on saying and referring to this, but it's going to be like it was in like the 1920s after, the Spanish flu. Like people are basically going to dress up for whatever occasion and like going out to like buy a new set of like jeans or something is going to be an occasion experience. And they really want to like get that experience, especially since like for more than like a year now already, like most of the people are only experiencing online shopping, which is actually, I think, a nice thing because it's also accelerating like how we accommodate to this like new trend and like these new stages of consumer or consumerism.
I think what's going to be interesting is actually that some brands will be ahead of the curve on this and actually do some advertising or do some content just around their stores. Mm-hmm. Like what does their store like feel like and look like? Because they've been focusing on products, which is great. Yeah. But I think it'll be almost going back to, you remember kind of old school social when e-commerce wasn't caught up as far. You'd see a lot of social content about the store. Yeah. Like, come on down. Like, we've got, right? Which is like a really interesting advertising model that kind of faded away a little bit. But I think it's going to come back and it's going to be like, check out our flagship store. Yeah. Like, here's some experiences from that. Or like, hey, we're grand opening after Corona sort of campaigns. So if there's any retailers that are listening, don't sleep on actually getting your retail experience in order during this period, because it's your time to like almost reopen your store after this whole thing dies down. Because then you can be like, hey, come on in, and you almost do like door crashers and do these sort of like have a band playing and like honestly, almost like opening a store. Idea, I think it could be funny, like Corona's over, store open.
Yeah. I mean, like I think that's the key word, right? Like the experience, because that's something you can also do once the pandemic is hopefully over. Like it's occasion, it's experience to go out together, like this shoppable experience, and you don't have that with digital shopping with e-commerce, right? Because you do it alone mostly. Yeah. And then
which is actually something we'll talk about later about trends, but I think that's also when we look at the future of social commerce. I think that's or e-commerce. The sort of, like what we've seen with watch parties, and we've seen social apps try to be more social where you're consuming content at the same time with others. I think it'll almost be like that with shopping as well. Like, how can you shop with others? And China's really good at this because China's been doing...
point at me.
Racist.
She's got a Chinese background.
You are
Chinese.
I brought my Asian outfit on today also.
Why can't I...
I just knew you would say something.
Racist, great. Because, but the thing is like they're like, China's very ahead in this. Like even the live sort of streaming online stores that you can buy like right in the app, and like you're basically watching a sort of a QVC or like television show where you're buying stuff. Yeah. They're very social. People are talking to each other. Oh, that's a really cool purse, or that's this. Like it's almost like Twitch streaming combined with product sales.
So it's gonna be like sort of like in real life or IRL streaming, right? Like in real life streaming.
No, I'm saying like we'll see more of the Chinese model, which is live streaming online. Yeah. With people showcasing products. And then you have a chat social aspect to it where you're buying products together. Like you're sort of in this mix of people that are all there consuming this live stream, and you're all like, you know, you can purchase the product directly in the app. And that's what we've seen, at least on the Chinese side. And it's been massive. Like, it's been super successful. Like, so I can see it coming here.
Yeah.
Spot a trend.
Would you buy stuff live stream? Like, if somebody, like, there's a bunch of people buying stuff on live stream, wouldn't that make you feel pure? Like, wouldn't that also like
Pump up the hype?
Yeah, wouldn't that hype you up a bit? Like, oh, like look here, this person just. It's a little like when you go to websites now and they're like, Jane from Texas just bought. Like these sort of pop-ups. That's like,
I don't know. To me, that has like a counter effect. Like, I'm like, oh, there are too many people buying this. Like, let me get something
You want
else.
to be unique.
but you don't know what. Or maybe you do know what they bought. But
No, I would be like more interested in like not like shopping stuff from like live stream, but more interested in like hearing my friend's opinion on like, hey, I tried this on, and like, what do you think about this? Or like, you know.
Yeah.
So I think if you can make the social commerce experience more social, that would be like, you know, where to me at least the interesting things start happening.
Yeah. We can have a Zoom Tupperware party. You know, where we sell Tupperware. Like, you remember you probably don't know this, but like back in the old days.
I feel like this is not the first time you bring this up.
No, this is the first time.
Bruce is crazy about Tupperware.
Apparently.
You got to have a good set, okay? It's essential to your life. Good dentist, good doctor, good Tupperware set. You have those in place, you're set. So, no, but there used to be Tupperware parties where like people would come and, you know, you'd get a whole bunch of people together and someone would host it in their home and you would buy Tupperware.
What?
Oh,
I
so
know
this
it
was
sounds
like
so
the old. This
crazy.
was like the old
This is
style,
old school,
like of MLM, basically.
Yeah, basically it was like
Yeah.
multi-level marketing.
I
like
see it in
it's still,
movies.
yeah, it still exists in many ways. Like,
Interesting.
but you would have like a party. They do it with
But
sex
do you
toys
have
now as
stuff
well.
in the
What?
Tupperware, or is it just empty Tupperware people?
Well, it's not like food. Like here,
No, it's like
here's some
basically old products.
pre-filled Tupperware with.
But I think it's for all products essentially. But I guess it's also because like it was mostly like a female audience doing this.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
homemakers, right?
yeah.
And people would, but I mean, it's also translated into like more male-driven products, like, you know, tools or
And
like,
cars.
well, not like cars, but tools and also meat. You'd have somebody come by and be like, "Oh, here's a steak and here's a this," and then you'd buy some meat.
Yeah.
Okay. What
Yeah.
do you guys think it takes to be successful in social commerce when brands on board?
Well, you said something which was really important here, which is trying to mimic or at least get as close to mimicking the real experience as possible. So when we're talking about like texture and smell and feel and all those things that come with buying a product, you have to try to unpack that in social commerce or in e-commerce in general. Like, that's why you have the power of it. You have video, you have, you know, these elements that you can get zoomed in. You can like show a really macro photo of what is the actual texture of the fabric look like. What does this look like? You can show it on athletes. You can really like show it in different contexts. So I think it's really about expanding the universe of the product and saying, and showing it as many different ways and different angles as possible, so that the user or the person buying, the consumer, feels like they've been in the store to feel it. I think that's what it takes in some ways. And then there's probably a bunch of other stuff, but that's my first sort of
So
tip.
you come with a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, that's where you come in. I've said my part.
I think a bunch of other stuff is like thinking about really moving the needle in terms of, you know, how you adapt to different platforms and how you adapt your tactics of, you know, sort of like getting the customers in to your social commerce or e-commerce store. Because I think ads are, as Chris also previously mentioned, like sort of
Just
like
one channel.
Yeah, they're just one channel. But I think where I see brands succeed tremendously is actually when they really get to showcase their products on people and do it in like very natural and native to platform ways. So
influencer marketing.
sort of, yeah. I think so. But I think what I've seen H&M doing is really cool, because they started doing it with influencer marketing, but they don't just do it with influencer marketing. They do a really cool like UGC program that they have going on. And basically, if you like have a new outfit from H&M and you really like the style of it and you post like a photo and you tag them, they actually put a lot of effort towards like, you know, really sourcing UGC, user-generated content. And when you go, for example, even on their website and look for different, or even in their app and look for different outfits and so on, then they will have like a real life example, and not only of a influencer, but just a random user who bought their stuff and how it looks on them. Because I think there is also like a level of trust that was sort of damaged when it comes to influencers and like how things look on them, because, you know, nobody is, you know, we're usually driven to beautiful people. So it's sort of natural that like influencers, or most of the influencers are beautiful people. And however it might sound bad, not all of us are beautiful people. And, you know, most of the...
What about on the inside, Andy, for all of us that are not genetically blessed?
Yeah.
Who says you're not genetically blessed?
No.
I mean, I'm just
My
talking.
parents.
But I think it's basically a really good way what H&M is doing to showcase. And then what I saw Zara doing was also interesting, because they do these city collections now, which is like they send out like a random freelance photographer and like basically they organize a shoot with like almost random models, and they do like a shoot in every city, and then they're gonna start targeting you with like that specific collection.
Okay.
So you know
In
what
that city.
Yeah, you want to
Yeah,
represent
you feel
Copenhagen.
closer to
This
it.
is the style in your city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Give
Yeah.
you context.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's like a super contextualized
Yeah.
tactic.
And I think another thing is I think a lot of brands, okay, I have 2 points here. One is social comment. If you already are doing e-commerce or you're a brand that's getting into it, I think there's a lot of legacy, I would say, e-commerce solutions or legacy ways of doing things when it comes to commerce online that are going to need to be kind of stripped away or changed in order for you to take advantage. For example, a lot of brands that I've worked with, you know, they're kind of stuck with an old e-commerce solution, so they can't do Instagram shopping or they can't do whatever shopping. And they're stuck in some ways, like, because their system wasn't agile enough. And I think that that's a really hard place to be. And I think what you have to do is you have to sort of examine the future from a digital structure standpoint and look at, okay, do we need to move something here? Because we're missing out on the opportunities of actually selling in online platforms that already have the traffic, that already have the audience.
Yeah.
So I think that's a more technical or
Yeah, like a business strategy.
or business strategy aspect, like you really have to make a choice. Do we make a cut and say, all right, because a lot of the newer brands, the indie brands, they haven't had that baggage, right? They haven't had these like old school ways or even like old school distribution ways of getting products out to people, that they've been able to move fast and say, okay, yeah, we'll shop on Instagram, we'll do this, and like this will ship out from this address. And they've just been able to move much faster onto the trends because they haven't had these baggages. So that's one aspect. And then you mentioned it right away, which I think brands cannot forget, is to have a brand. You said, like, of course you're clicking on Nike stuff because they've established a relationship with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. We deal with startups sometimes here, and they want to jump to bottom of the funnel. They basically say, we only want to run bottom of the funnel ads. And it's like, but you need to gather everybody at the top first. And the only way you do that is by having a great brand that you can generate awareness on. So you need brand building. You need brand awareness. If you don't have that, then your bottom of the funnel becomes extremely small, and you're not going to reach your goals. So when it comes to social commerce, I think it's really important that you don't forget that you have an entire spectrum of funnel and channels and ways of reaching people that, you know, are going to make everything slimmed or make everything go smoother. Because if you only focus on social commerce, the actual checkout, cha-ching, you're probably going to fail. You need that brand.
Yeah, like on the long term.
On the long
because
term.
I was about to ask, like, what do you think happens when brands are actually meeting their goals and objectives, even with just focusing on like bottom of the funnel? Because I actually heard some stories about that. Like, for example, like some Nordic brands that are targeting the Asian market. Like in Asia, ultimately like the credibility of like Scandinavian brands is pretty strong. So you don't even have to like build a brand, because you can just basically base your advertising and like social commerce strategy on just reputation that belongs to, you know, certain
region.
Certain region.
I mean, that is branding in some ways, right? They're sort of
true.
They're piggybacking off of the Scandinavian brand, which had to be built anyway, which is great. I mean, they're still doing that, and they'll have to like live up to that, because if they then have a shitty product and they're selling themselves as Scandinavian, then it gets like, it's going to have ripple effects. But I think it's very short-sighted. Like you said, like it's only single like now. But I mean, lots of different things work. I'm not saying that you have to focus on brand building, and I'm not saying that you have to focus on just social commerce. I'm saying that I think a better strategy is looking at it holistically and saying, how do we do it all, and make sure that we're meeting our KPIs across the board. Right? So
I mean, I think like to me, just focusing on like one or the other is like, as you said, also like short-sighted, and that's not really a strategy that you would have like in place.
I think it was, didn't you send me an article a little while ago on Adidas or something like that? That like,
I did.
Basically they said, hey, we went too far with this. With this, like, you know, data-driven, always going for the click, focusing on e-commerce. We went too far with it, and it actually crushed our top of the funnel. And now we're trying to fix it. Isn't that what basically the article was?
That's what Adidas did, I think. But I think it's actually a slightly older article. Actually, I think I sent it to you like last year. But it's nice that you still remember it.
Is that an old article last year? But a whole 12 months ago. Maybe
in
not
this
even.
World it is.
But that's true, that like what they realized is like, okay, we focus so much on e-commerce and like mid and lower funnel activities that like basically maxed out return on ad spend on like this current audience who's buying from Adidas. But we see an issue with is actually getting new customers and getting them to try Adidas products, and that's because the brand was not strong enough, and they didn't focus on, you know, building their brand and their reputation.
I've actually heard from a few customers that like literally Google and Facebook has told them, you can't spend any more money. Like you literally have tapped out your audience on who will actually buy from you. You're done. Like you have nowhere to go, and it's like, what? That's you've completed advertising on the net. It's like you've completed Netflix. You've completed.
Wait for the next generation.
you got to the end of the game. Good job. But they literally told them like you can't spend any more money. That's it. Like unless you decide to do brand building, which is you're talking about here. It's like, which I think is a fantastic world that we live in now, that they can literally say you've reached the end of you've reached the end of Facebook. There's no more scrolling. Which is kind of neat, right?
I never heard of that, but that's what kind of crazy.
I forget which brand it was that talked to us, and it's probably under NDA, so I won't say the brand name anyway, but like literally they were told you can't, there's no more to get. You got all the ad space and all the, you know, audience that you can get with this.
Then speaking up, do you guys have any recommendations for brands for use of platforms or platforms for brand building so they can succeed in e-commerce?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, as usual, I would just take like a high level view on it and say like start with your strategy.
Total consultant move. Got to start with strategy.
High level.
I think
a lot of money on it. A lot of hours.
Let's do a word count and count how many times you say high level strategy.
I think where you should start is really looking at like, okay, we are moving into this new era of social commerce, and then what challenges that will bring for your brand. And then like once you identify those challenges, that's when you can actually move into, you know, figuring out like what tactics and tools I should really use to overcome those. Or it's also a possibility that like some brands who are just such mammoths that like they cannot move into social commerce in the right time, they just then have to basically adopt and in the meanwhile wait for the next big thing.
Okay.
But I think...
Do you have an example in mind?
Not that I could mention, or like
Walmart.
Yeah, actually Walmart.
Like, how would you do social commerce with Walmart? Like
Walmart, and actually Kmart had like But Kmart was like not like social commerce. It was like a way older example. But Walmart was like the one who basically defeated Kmart in like it's not relevant. It's not that relevant. But I think it was just like Kmart was too big to move into this like new way of distribution and using information
so
technology.
So they got their ass kicked by Walmart.
By Walmart.
Okay.
And now Walmart is a too big fish.
Well, I don't know if Walmart's too big, but I don't know how they can. I mean, of course they could do social commerce. Like, they just have to sell through those platforms, or maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe what I would do is actually, if I would be Walmart, I would like try to double down on, like departments.
Yeah.
Most social friendly departments.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what are those, but like, I guess they're selling everything. Mm-hmm. So, it can be like a Walmart Gardens.
It'd be funny to do this would be funny to do the live stream QVC thing for Walmart.
Yeah. Stuff. So big.
These t-shirts are $10.
That's an idea we can try to pitch.
Yeah.
Just really, like, normally it's like pretty expensive stuff, but just go like really cheap. Like this bag of pretzels. That's $2.
Expires tomorrow.
Expires
Get it while you can.
tomorrow. We'll ship it to you overnight. Shipping will be more than the pretzels.
But spiraling back to what you actually asked, I'm not sure if I probably like answered that, but I think just maybe starting with influencer marketing and then figuring out how you can move into, a more UGC focused strategy with your social commerce for creating testimonials and for creating content as well. I think that's like a good start and maybe somewhere you could start digging.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's also like where I would start is also you need the brand building, but then you also need to sell some products, right? And what I've seen successful with some brands is even though they're doing, let's say, social content about the product, actually a lot of them don't actually give you enough data to make a decision. So what they're doing is they're actually making you sort of do a lot more legwork than you need to. So what you should do is, I think, if you're going to post something about a product, actually put like the ingredients, put like the certificate, like if it's 100% cotton, put 100% cotton. Like, tell me the price. Okay, if it's available in, Copenhagen and it's Danish krone and it's also available in the US, or like if you have a global brand, put the prices on there for me. Like, that's how you can be more social commerce, is actually thinking like it's a store and actually giving me the data that I need to make a decision. Yeah. Otherwise, I might have to get out of the platform, which is always a pain, right? Yeah. But if I can actually see right away, and I think a successful brand that we were talking about actually a few, maybe 3 or maybe 10 episodes ago, maybe the first episode, which was about The Ordinary, or no, not The Ordinary. Yeah, maybe it's The Ordinary, the face,
essence and serum, whatever.
Yeah, exactly, beauty. Like beauty products. Yeah, they've done a really good job of like, they'll show you the product, they'll actually tell you all the ingredients in the product, and then they'll actually lay out the pricing, which is like, and then where you can buy it. You can buy it from here. Instead, like a lot of other brands would just be like, look at our luscious new blah, 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 and do-da-da, and la-ga-da-da-da, and like, give all this flowery stuff, which is good. That's the brand building side. But it's like, how the fuck do I get the product?
Yeah.
And how much is this thing that you're showing me? Is it $20 or is it $100? Like, I have no context of if this is for me or not. And so I think like if you're a brand just getting into social commerce, think about it like that. Like, think about, okay, you've got their attention, they're reading the caption. Let's go another step. Let's show them. And you can make it as the second comment, or you can put it in the caption. It's up to you, but I would say, do something with that.
Yeah. I think what you said, like a bunch of really inspiring and smart things, but a few things I would also like highlight, but just like what it inspired me is like, to your question again, is like, I think in terms of platforms, I would definitely suggest focusing more on Instagram. And actually the new guides feature, I think that could be brilliant for supporting social commerce efforts.
Yeah, a guide to this product, a guide to that product. Yeah.
And I think in a world that is like social and e-commerce, where you don't really have that like opportunity to get the customer in the store, you really need to work hard to actually help them imagine what that product might feel like, what that product might do for them. And I think that's where like testimonials and telling customer stories can come in really handy.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Like benefit 1.
Yeah.
Benefit 2. Benefit
Yeah.
3. Like literally like, and showing them, you could do this and you could do that.
I mean, there are like, even on TikTok, like there are these like dermatologists and like cosmetologists as well, who are just like talking about like, so if you have this thing on your skin, then I could recommend you like this product, and these products do this, and it's like 30 seconds, and like bam, all the knowledge that you needed about like skincare is there, and then like, you know.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Definitely useful, detailed. That's the great combination, I guess, gathering from you guys. So I'm just throwing the last question out there. What's next in e-commerce, social commerce?
You're just gonna look at a product and then blink your eyes, and then it'll be
And it's home.
and it's on its way via drone.
Yeah, I think drones are definitely gonna be the next thing, but
Drone shopping.
I think what I think is the next thing is gonna be is probably VR experiences, VR shopping experiences. AR shopping experiences are, to a certain extent, are already reality. Like Snapchat and Lego was doing it, and also a bunch of other brands are already moving into the AR direction and are having success with it. Also, IKEA and like the new features in the iPhone and iPad are also like nicely combining. So basically, you can just figure out how you want to furnish your apartment through your iPhone, and like how it would look like, which is, to me, it's kind of crazy, but also like super useful because you don't have to actually go to IKEA and like measure your apartment, because you can just like take your phone and
Scan it and then put the furniture in there.
And then I think the next stage of this is gonna be VR, when you can actually, you know, even just like with your PlayStation headset, like use it for, you know, visiting a store online.
I still think we're very far from that, but I think it is in the horizon.
Yeah.
But I think VR is such a weird animal because it like has these renaissance periods where it's like, oh, it's really going big, and then it's like, oh, wait a second, maybe it's not, and then it's like, maybe it's good. This is the one. This is the one time VR is gonna be here, and then it's like, nah, maybe not. So I don't know if it's right there, but I think we also talked about this in the gaming episode, or we talked about this in another episode, but basically I think purchasing in-game is going to be something that's pretty close. Like, you know, you're going to see Nikes, or you're going to see these products on this particular person in the game and characters, and you can go and buy that stuff.
I mean, you can have that already in NBA 2K. I mean, not like the real life product, but in NBA 2K you have Nike and Adidas.
Yeah, you buy
and
like digital products, which is also like where I think social commerce is going to go. So you're going to have like a digital product with it. And I think we talked a little bit about buying already, like buying as a group, buying in a more social context, like shopping with your friends online. I think that'll become much bigger as well.
Yeah.
And I think one of the other things that I think we're also seeing that trend of just bigger things being purchased. You know, like it used to be crazy. If you told somebody 20 years or 30 years ago that you would buy a car online, they would be like, no fucking way. Like, you'd have to drive it. We're doing that. Like, literally, like Tesla will show up at your door. And I think there's more and more things that'll come in that you thought, I would never buy that online, but now you're gonna buy that stuff online. And social commerce will help like ease that. I also think there's gonna be we're already seeing that here in Europe, where there's actually slowing down of the process, where you have like too many steps to purchase now, because you have to do like security checks and things like that. I think there's going to be then solutions that sort of help you get around those sort of issues, and help you purchase much quicker.
With the blink of an eye.
With a blink of an eye. I think the AR thing is exactly where it's going. Like, you can literally, you'll see anything, like, because we're getting so good with the AI tools to actually break down what products or what things somebody has. You'll be able to, like, there'll be apps that come out that just allow you to like browse every kind of content, and whatever that person's wearing, drinking, looking at, whatever it is, will be accessible. And then you can just go, that's very far out, but you'll just be able to see what are they using, what is this person got, and then like literally you can add to cart.
Actually, I
purchase.
think that is a good direction, or like not a good direction, but like a realistic direction. Like imagine just having like these Google glasses, for example, looking at someone and like, oh, I like that, I don't know, shirt.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, it's from here. You can buy it here, and it costs this much.
Crazy.
And like,
Yeah.
But I think that's where it'll go, like, because you can already see that they're kind of gearing up with it, with, you know, with being able to use an AI to actually
and
scan
image recognition.
and image recognition on that. The next step is actually, well, they do already have brand recognition, but, you know, what is that exact item that person is wearing, or that, you know, what exact item is in that person's house? Like you go visit somebody and it's like, oh, I really like that vase. And it's like, it's already being sort of added to your cart.
I want to see how that will work with Neuralink.
Yeah, but that's
That
the
would
sort
be
of like,
crazy.
that's the next level. Like really,
Definitely.
you're just purchasing stuff by looking at it, like I said, and you're like,
Looking at it, pointing at me.
and then like blinking, and then it's like blink 5 times to add to cart. Then the European Union would be like, no, it's got to be 6. 6, and you have to like stick out your tongue and add all this shit in to verify that it's you. So yeah.
Okay, great guys. Let me try to sum it up. So
Yes.
for social commerce, we have talked about that definitely that the digital shopping has grown way much in the past years, right? Also just in
Yes.
Corona year 2020.
2020 accelerated it for
Exactly.
sure.
And what it takes to be successful is like to look at a high level and plan out a strategy, see what platforms might suit you and which direction you should go, and don't neglect on community management, brand building, because those are essential for people recognizing your brand and want to buy into your products. And also be precise, detailed, provide that service when you sell your products, create this experience, because that's what digital technology can replace, is that actually shopping experience with your friends and this social element. So if you want to be successful in building an e-commerce, social commerce platform, then keep in mind to make it an experience all around. I mean,
Totally
texture, texture, feel, color, whatever, mimic, give as much details as you can for your consumers.
Agreed.
So thank you for listening.
Thank you guys. Please
and
like,
watching.
subscribe, slap that like button like it owes you money.
Review.
Slap that like button like a customer service on a bad product that you want to return because you bought it online and it doesn't fit. Slap that return label like you would slap a like button. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys on the next one. What are we talking about next?
Should we reveal it?
No, let's forget that. It'll be a secret.
Yes. No, for the next episode, we're going to talk about Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
Uprising trend.
Nice. I love it. Cool. See you guys next time.
See you guys.
See you.
Bye.